Hey everybody, I'm Scott Wikle. You're listening to My Kind of Country. The wheels turn really fast sometimes in the country music world. I was just turned on to this gentleman's music just a few short days ago, and with the powers that be, we were able to get together and have him on the show tonight. And I'm very excited because I truly believe in what he's doing, and I absolutely love the album he's got out. And I know you're going to enjoy it because it is definitely my kind of country, and it's my pleasure to welcome Jason James to My Kind of Country. Jason, how are you tonight?
Hey, doing all right, Scott. How you doing?
Man, I'm fantastic. I'm so glad that this came together so quickly and we can get you on the air.
I am too. I am too.
And right away, I want to thank my friend Angela Backstrom for getting us together, and our buddy Joe Blaine down in Texas I know is listening too.
That's right. That's right. God bless them both.
Absolutely. Well, man, before we get into the new album, give me a little bit of your history and your background. And I certainly know a lot of your influences because I can hear it in your voice, but I kind of like to hear your background.
Well, I tell you what, I'm from a little town called Texas City, which is right by Galveston down here, Galveston, Texas. And, kind of grew up on country music my whole life. I got into... Well, they tried to put me in rock and roll for a little while. I got into it, but kind of found my way back to country when I started hanging out with my dad again in my early 20s, and he got me back on the Hank Williams track, and ever since then I haven't looked back.
Well, good for you, man. That's fantastic. You know, sometimes record labels and different people in the business, they try to kind of steer you a different direction, don't they?
Boy, tell me about it. Yeah, they do. That's kind of what happened with the last one I was on, and I had sent these songs on the new record over, and kept getting. It just didn't like. They said it was too country, and I was like, "Well, we're going to have a problem then, Hoss. I don't know what to tell you."
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Well, obviously, you grew up listening to country music, and it's very evident in the album that you've got out now. And one of the things that I absolutely love is that I can hear so many different influences kind of rolled into one. And there's certain songs where you kind of sound like George Jones, certain songs where you sound like Hank Williams, but it's definitely your own style. And you're certainly not a copycat. And I think you're doing country music the way that it's supposed to be, and I think it comes naturally to you.
Well, thank you so much. It means a lot to me. I tell you what, I think we all kind of steal it, though, from the master, Lefty Frizzell, with all the bending and curlings and stuff. I kind of, my biggest vocal influences, are Lefty and Hank Williams and George Jones, people like that.
Absolutely.
And I just try to, like you said, trying to find my own voice with a mixture of them all in there.
Well, this is country music. The stuff they have nowadays is not. They shouldn't be calling it country music, but I guess that's a whole different story. But the stuff.
I know. I was talking to Georgette Jones yesterday. I was awfully kind of her to put one of the songs up. She'd never heard of me, and we were kind of texting back and forth, messaging back and forth, and she was talking. We got on the subject there. I was like, "Don't even get me started. We don't have time."
Amen to that. Well, the stuff that we grew up on is timeless, and it keeps coming back around again, and that's kind of evidenced by what you've done with this new album. And folks, the album is called Seems Like Tears Ago, and it's available at jasonjamesband.com and also Amazon and iTunes and all the usual places that we buy and download music these days. Jason, you have, I believe, you have written every song on this album. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. Every one of them I penned on this one. And a lot of them worked live. I'd had in the set for a little while, and that's what made it so easy going into the studio. We just kind of knocked it out. They were already ready to go.
Wow, that's incredible. Well, you're a tremendous songwriter, and your stuff is right in the, I call it in the pocket, of really good country sound. And I'm always interested when I talk to songwriters, what your process is for writing songs. Did they come really fast, or that's something you kind of labor on for a while?
I'd say the majority of ones I do, I might write 2 or 3 a night, some of them I come back and work on, but there's usually one that'll come out of the gate that's a little faster than the others, and I can put it together pretty quick, 30 minutes or something. I usually start getting kind of, my ADD kicks in. I start kind of daydreaming about other stuff. So I'd say it's pretty fast. Prolific doesn't necessarily mean great, but I got a lot of them.
I like that. So quality, not quantity, right?
That's right. That's right.
No doubt.
Well, I try to write from, a universal aspect of things, and I think that's what, part of making something timeless is having feelings that everyone can relate to, and that's where I try to really come from, just something from the heart that's the truth, and that's what country music is to me.
Amen to that. Freddie Hart was a dear friend of mine, and he told me one day, he put it the best way I've ever heard it, and it was the most simple phrase. He said, country music is people put to music. And I said,
that's exactly what it is.
That's it. Yep.
That's exactly what it is.
Yep, absolutely. Well, you have a single that is getting a lot of attention. You're just getting a lot of attention all over the internet. I'm reading reviews. I'm seeing videos. It's just really blowing up for you right now. But the single you've got out right now is called "Move a Little Closer." Tell me a little bit about that one. That's
right. That's one of those tunes that was in the live set for a little while, and the label wasn't crazy about it. And so when I left and went in to record on this one, that's one of the first songs we cut, and it just sounded like it does. Some songs take on a different feeling, when you go into the studio, and this one just went right through, went on down the track like it's supposed to. And after we got done cutting it, they're like, well, there's your first single there. And radio, likes stuff with a little pep to start things off with, so that's basically that one.
That's really cool. Well, hey, let's take a little break right now, and let's play that song. I'm so anxious to play some of your music. I want folks to hear this. This is the first time that I've played your music on my show, so I'm really excited to present this tonight. This is Jason James, and the album is called Seems Like Tears Ago, and we're going to play that new single for you, Move a Little Closer. And Jason, if you got time, I'd love to have you come back, and we'll talk some more.
Hey, you bet.
All right, stay with us as My Kind of Country continues. Here is Jason James with his brand new song, Move a Little Closer.
Well, I'm sick and tired of hanging around, waiting for you to decide. If you're gonna love me, you better learn pretty quick. Just choose on your side. When I started talking, it's best just start listening, 'cause honey, baby, this ain't right. You better move a little closer before I say it's over and daddy totes it down the line. You call me on the telephone, you sound as sweet can be. Saying all the things you wanna do with me, I light up like a Christmas tree. And then you leave me on the line while you hang me out to dry. You better move a little closer before I say it's over and daddy totes it down the line. Well, I lie awake at night, haven't heard a word from you in days. I've never met a girl who could let me down 1,000 different ways. Loving you's like sleeping on the tracks, I'm just waiting around to die. You better move a little closer before I say it's over and daddy totes it down the line. a crib, so mama, please hear my cry. You better move a little closer before I say it's over and daddy tilts it down the line. I thought by me loving you, life would be so sweet, but nothing's changed in this world of mine. I'm staring in defeat. I've got more bags underneath my eyes than the ones you left with last night. You better move a little closer before I say it's over and daddy tilts it down the line. You better move a little closer before I say it's over and daddy tilts it down the line.
All right, that is brand new music from Jason James. The album is called Seems Like Tears Ago, and we can go to jasonjamesband.com and get more information. And I've got Jason with me tonight talking about this brand new record. What a cool song, and that really is a toe tapper, man. That's a lot of fun.
I tell you what, it was fun in the studio, man. I tell you, that's one of the ones that are like, woo, that got us going.
You got some great players. Tell me about the musicians on this project.
Oh, Lord, I tell you, you know, we've kind of gone back and forth about maybe doing something in Nashville, you know, and getting a studio up there, and, of course, getting some of those cats that were on my last record, my first record. And but there was just so many players that were in Texas that play on such great records, you know, like Jeff Queen's on the steel guitar, and he played baritone he played guitar on that, too, and John Evans did. And we just decided to we tried to approach it like how you would back in the day, you know. These cats just come in and they picked it up so quick. I was nervous about it, you know, because they'd never really heard my stuff, and I just had to put my trust in John Evans. And, boy, I tell you, he delivered. He brought them in.
You know, I think that's some of the best music has come about that way. Just getting together in a studio, recording stuff live, right on the spot, and just rolling with it. You know, some of the greatest songs have been done that way over the years.
That's what I'm talking about. I think that one was 1 or 2 takes, you know, and he wouldn't let me. John, he's got a way of keeping things moving without it seeming like it's rushed, you know. And of course, I've got a little bit of studio experience, so it was just a matter of going in there and knocking it out. You know, I started getting all a little rambunctious and wanted to do the whole album in one night. He's like, no, we can't move that fast, but we're going to move pretty fast. But we tracked all of this, and I did the vocals, I think, in 3 days. Of course, those were 3 very long days, 3 20-hour days.
Man.
But we got him in there, and he wouldn't let me do too many takes because I sometimes wouldn't sing them the same way, you know, on some of them. So he was like, you know what, we don't need to go through all these and pick these out. We just need to pick the most powerful ones, and those are usually the best ones, and they were the first couple takes, you know.
You know, I was watching a video of you performing live, and it was a song. I think you did this on a Super Bowl commercial. It was Ernest Tubb's song, and I was watching you sing, and I was immediately reminded of George Jones in the phrasing, because you would kind of curl and bend those notes, and, you know, throw some Lefty Frizzell in there, and I thought, man, this guy is really just into the song, and I would imagine probably that you probably don't sing the song the same way twice.
It kind of depends on how I feel. You know, John's kind of helped me pick you know, like, well, it sounds good when you curl here. You know, you don't have to ham it up all the time, you know. And, but, boy, I love them old soul singers like that, you know. And it's fun to have such a great band behind you that I can just kind of let go, you know. And just really get into the song and I guess live it out in some way. I don't know how to describe it.
Well, you know, when you have a fun time on the stage and everybody's enjoying what they're doing, that carries out to the audience, and you kind of end up feeding off of each other.
It really is. It really is. And it becomes a call and respond with the crowd and themselves. And if they're seeing you're having fun, you know, I've had some people say, you know, you're singing the saddest song that you've had all night and you're smiling. You know, I'm like, well, I'm having fun. I love singing them sad songs.
sad songs, man. I love so much, and it's so strange because they're sad songs. They Jones always called them sad slob and tear jerkers, but in some kind of a way, they can kind of make me feel good.
I know. It makes me feel better. Like, man, that guy's lonesome. That don't make me feel so bad anymore.
Yeah. And I also I want to applaud you when you go on stage. You are dressed the part. You've got a very nice jacket on, and you look like you're supposed to be there. There's no ripped jeans and no backwards baseball caps, and that's thank you.
You're most certainly welcome. And it's about keeping those traditions alive, and I'm all about that. And that's what country music has been built upon: this tradition and paying homage to what came before you, but at the same time, keeping the wheels oiled and greased and keeping it rolling on.
Absolutely. Well, my favorite song so far, and I hesitate saying that because it might change, but the one I seem to really gravitate towards on this album it's just a great, a real solid shuffle, and it just really hit the pocket for me. It's called "I Miss You After All."
One of my favorites. That's one of my favorites to sing too. You can kind of just let that one shuffle its own way down, and it's a great live song. So it's easy to play for me, and it's all in the pocket. And I just set it up and go.
And man, I really like that one, and I like two steps. I like shuffles, and you've got the title song too is a great two step as well.
Well, thank you, man. I tell you what, I certainly am honored, man. I'm glad you're having me on here. I tell you, quite nervous to release this one. I kind of wondered how crazy. I knew I was crazy, but I didn't know if this was a good idea to release something so unabashedly country. But I just think there are so many people out there that want this type of music to come back, and I just want to be part of delivering that, because I just want to make music that I would want to listen to.
Amen. And we need that. There is such a huge audience for real country music. I've been doing this show now for 5 years, and I have listeners all over the world. And I go to concerts. I go see people like David Frizzell, Mo Bandy, a lot of these artists, and they're just packing houses. So that tells me a lot right there. And this they did the Ken Burns documentary recently, and that's there was so much debate back and forth, people that were missed and this and that and the other with that documentary, but it got people talking, and it got people discovering the music, and I think it's kind of continued to open up those doors. Traditional country music has made such a big swing back, and I think you are coming out with this album at a perfect time.
You know what? And I wish I could take credit for it being planned that way. I knew it was supposed to come out, but we didn't even know when the album was going to come out. And it couldn't have been at a better time, and I almost want to take credit for it, but I can't, unfortunately. But it has done wonders for me, because it's really, brought people, like you said, you hit the nail on the head there, getting people talking again about traditions. And if you really watch those, that's kind of the whole thing about it, It's about keeping those traditions alive and just speaking the truth,
Amen. Well, country music's in good hands with people like you. I cannot tell you how impressed I am with not only what you're doing, but the music you're putting out. I just, every once in a while this happens to me, and something comes out of left field and it just absolutely blows me away. And this is one of those projects.
I tell you what, I really appreciate that, and I thank all the people, I'll keep doing this as long as, there's an audience, and I tell you, there's so many fans that have been rediscovering, new fans that, didn't know who I was before on the last record, that are finding me now, and I'm just so happy with this record, and I think that, the players and the songs are important, but with John just being able to capture that, countrypolitan wall of sound, Billy Sherrill type stuff, and being able to execute that today, because that's where we were kind of at with it. I was like, I don't want to do a song that sounds old. It'd be like, what would Conway Twitty sound like if he recorded really good songs today with modern equipment?
Yeah.
And, of course, John Evans is like, well, these songs are going to sound old because this is an art form, This has been something that's kind of been lost in time. So, but, that's some of my favorite era type country, is that 60s country. I mean, that's just, to me, I love all the production on all that stuff. And keeping the fiddle alive, too,
Oh, yeah. It's my go-to place when I listen to country. That's really my favorite era, and it's relevant. The music is still relevant, and it fits today. Just it was popular for a reason back in those times, and
exactly right.
It has no expiration date.
Not if you're writing from the heart, and not if you're writing about truth. And these things never go away. The years go by, and maybe technology gets better, or this or that, but the way people feel and those basic human emotions never go away, and I suppose they'll always be good cheating and drinking songs.
Absolutely. No doubt. Well, JasonJamesBand.com is the website. Please go check that out. And you can get the album Seems Like Tears Ago at Amazon and iTunes. Jason's also on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And we'll post some links on our Facebook page as well. And you can check that out. And Jason, we talked about some of your songs. And one more I wanted to ask you about that I really like, too, is called
Sure.
Foolish Heart.
Oh, yeah. It's another one of my favorites. At first, I wasn't going to put it on there. I had another song that was a little bit more up-tempo, and I was like, well, we're going to have a couple of these up-tempos on here. But John, was like, nah, this is a great song. You need to do this. And I'd been listening to a lot of Patsy Cline and Ray Price, and I was like, man, this would have been great to have them record that. But it's in that Ray Price shuffle, and I had to put one on the record.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I tell you, this is great music, and it's going to be played a lot on my shows. I will guarantee you that.
All right.
What do you have as far as tour dates coming up?
Well, I've got a bunch of Texas dates. It's going to put me out here in Texas throughout the month. I'm looking to book out, November and all that, and get out and see the people all over the country. So I'm hoping this one gets me out of Texas. I know that there's a lot of fine folks up there where y'all are at, and I don't know. I just want to travel and see the country, and play some country music.
Well, I think as people discover what you're doing, I think that's going to really open up some doors for you. And I read that you change the name of your band every show. Is that right?
Well, it was we changed players a lot too. We keep showing up and. It'd be players here or there, pickup players. I would be like, well, I don't know, name yourselves tonight. So it would kind of be like, if we were at, Longhorn Saloon, be, Jason James and the Longhorn Band or whatever, they'd name themselves, and I'd introduce them. We're just having a little fun with it because I don't have a set name with it, with the name of the band yet. So I'm trying to, once we get some, full-time players in that do that, I'm sure we'll come up with something. I tell you, musicians got a very clever way of coming up with things.
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of like that idea. It might be something just to keep doing. It's definitely different. I've never heard of anybody doing that before, just rename your band every show.
Yeah, it works. Sometimes they come up with names like, no, we can't say that on the microphone. We'll do abbreviations and let them do a little thinking, but we can't say that.
Yeah,
they get awfully clever.
That's great. Well, folks, again, please go to JasonJamesBand.com. The album is called Seems Like Tears Ago, and we're going to play a whole big selection of these songs for you, and I hope that you'll check it out. And please go to Amazon, iTunes, and get this fantastic, and get the whole album. I don't just download one or two songs, get the whole thing. Is every single song on here is just, they could all be singles. They're that good. It's just great stuff. And Jason, I hope that you'll take time to come back on the show anytime, and I certainly want to thank you for being with us here tonight.
Scott, I couldn't thank you enough, and giving me a place to speak and some leverage here. I tell you, it means a lot. And like you said too, we tried to write a good album. We just wanted something where you could sit down, you put it in your car, and just let it roll all the way through. Some people they go into record and only want to do the single, or they only, and the rest of it's filler. So we tried to make something that just sounds great to listen to all the way through. So hopefully it gets stuck in some people's CD players.
Well, you nailed it, man. Keep doing what you're doing, because it's you got a gold mine there. I just love what you're doing, man, and I'm so glad that when you said Lefty Frizzell, I thought, man, that's it right there. I'm such a big Lefty Frizzell fan. In fact, all the Frizzells, and the influence of Lefty Frizzell on singers, I think, is second to none.
It all goes back to Lefty. I am completely such a huge fan of Lefty Frizzell. I could go on forever. I'm sure you could too. I got the honor to go to Lefty Frizzell Fest last year, and that's where I ran into Joe Blaine and I knew he'd be there. But I showed up in a big old suit, and it's in Corsicana, Texas, during the middle of the summer. So needless to say, I chose the wrong attire. But Cagney Frizzell, who's Alan's son, and Cagney's a dang good writer in his own sense, and out there on the road and carrying on the traditions, his way. And he finally came up to me. I was talking to somebody, and they happened to have something for me to sign. I guess somebody had a CD in their truck and went and got it. And Cagney came up to me and said, "Hey, man, you look like you're real hot. You want to come on the camper and maybe have something cold to drink?" I said, "Sure, certainly." And by the end of the night, I think I was an honorary Frizzell. We had a good time.
That's the way they are. The Frizzells are great people. I'm blessed to be friends with them, especially David. David and I are very good friends, and they are just the best people. They treat you just like family.
I tell you what, that's what it's all about. That's what country music is.
You betcha, you betcha. And that's coming up again, too, Lefty Fest, November 2nd this year. They backed it up a little bit, so hopefully it won't be quite so hot. So
yeah, it's still Texas, though. There's no telling.
Yeah, no telling. You never know. You never know.
Boy, I tell you, I'd rather it be inside this time, because last one was, whoo!
Yeah, it was a warm one. It was a warm one. Well, thank you so much, Jason, man. I can't thank you enough for being on the show, and I'm so excited for you. And we're just going to play a whole bunch of your songs here. This is Jason James, and I want to thank you again for being on My Kind of Country.
You bet, Scott. Thank you so much.
Each time that she tells you that she's leaving, you tell yourself it just can't be so. Now every time she comes back, you believe her when she tells you that she'll never let you go. Foolish heart, close your eyes to what they plainly see. Foolish heart, play the part of a fool for her that you will always be. Must think that you're a clown. The way she laughs each time she tears you down. Yet somehow you just can't live without her. You tell yourself one day she'll come around. Foolish heart, close your eyes to what they plainly see. Foolish heart, play the part of close your eyes to what they plainly see. Foolish heart, play the part of the fool for her that you will always be. A fool for her you will always be. Everywhere I go, here you are, laying sweetly on my mind. And to know that you feel the same about me is what makes our love simply divine. Even on the coldest day of winter, we have each other to fan the flame. Yes, our home here is warm with passion, and one sweet touch from you drives me insane. It's good to know your love means forever. Hand in hand we walk as one, and it's good to know we'll always be together until our days are done. Well, it's good to know your love means forever. Hand in hand we walk as one. It's good to know we'll always be together until our days are done. Until our days are done. Simply divine. I laugh and joke, pretend that skies aren't gray. Even tell myself tomorrow's a brighter day. But every night when the teardrops fall, I can't fool myself, I miss you after all. I join my friends for a night on the town, even boast and brag, I'm glad you're not around. But secretly waiting for your call, I can't fool myself, I miss you after all. I can't put aside the dreams we used to share. I'm haunted, I see your face everywhere. Just to hear your voice, to pieces I would fall. I can't fool myself, I miss you after all. Such as I try and live without you by my side. I saw you today with him, felt so small. I can't fool myself, I miss you after all. I can't put aside the dreams I used to share. I'm haunted, I see your face everywhere. Just to hear your voice, pieces I would fall. I can't fool myself, I miss you after all. I can't fool myself, I miss you after all. The day said goodbye, I hung my head and cried. For everyone knows I'm a fool for you. It killed me to see you go, but you said it had to be so. And it seems like tears ago. Tears ago, I don't know when. Lost track of time, busy losing my mind. Your love grew cold, I don't recall when though. Oh, but it seems like tears ago. You left our kids and our home for the wild side to roam. Your new family is behind swinging doors. You left these arms of mine, you find more comfort in the warmth of the wine. And it seems like tears ago. Tears ago, I don't know when though. Lost track of time, busy losing my mind. Your love grew cold,